If you turn your attention to my right, you will see my friend Allan sitting by the piano.
Allan!
He will be doing us a favor providing us some mood-setting music for if you start to get bored, so you can simply relax, tune out from my speech, and enjoy the beautiful piano sounds that come from the speakers. Now let's begin. As students, we have waited through 1,460 tireless days, 720 repetitive flag salutes, 208 cherished weekends, 8 fun-filled summer months, 4 extensive years for this one defining moment. A moment that will reverberate with different emotions through each one of our brains in a distinctive manner. Some may rejoice in the fact that they may never have to cross through the threshold of the main entrance again, while still some may have a yearning feeling in the pits of their stomach, which can be diagnosed as a desire to return to their freshman year. Some may be deeply saddened by the idea of no longer having the opportunity to be united under one roof, which has created everlasting friendships. There may even be people who have a deep hatred for the very foundation of this school. And you know what? That's okay. For this speech, I did not want to quote an obscure 20th century author for which I have not even read any work of. Instead, I decided to take a quote from a source which has provided our generation with a myriad of knowledge and wisdom. A television show. How I Met Your Mother, to be precise. Ted Mosby, a character from the show, once said, "On any day, you can step out of the front door and your life can change forever. The universe has its plan, and that plan is always in motion. Life dwindles down to the decisions you make and how you react to the outcome of your choices." The basic aspects of life can be connected to the fairy tales and stories we heard as we were growing up. If you really think about it, the TV shows and movies we watch nowadays have a moral which is introduced through fairy tales. Whether it was learning about love through Cinderella, or learning about the trustworthiness of people through Little Red Riding Hood. But today I want to focus on a lesson-known story called Rip Van Winkle, which teaches the ever-important lesson about life passing by with or without your consent. Time is a concept that was made up by mankind without the intention of being lethal. But in reality, time is relentless. Let's begin. The story begins with a man named Rip Van Winkle. He is fed up with his wife's nagging and the hard work that is needed to maintain his farm. Easily comparable to the words of teachers and parents about maintaining focus on schoolwork and grades. And the work on the farm is comparable to the difficulties of an analytical essay focusing on how the American dream is a major theme throughout the Great Gatsby and must be accompanied by several quotes and detailed explanations about how each selected quotation correlates directly back to the original question at hand. But let's move on with the story. Rip decides that he is done with the incessant pestering of his wife, so he decides to run off to the Catskill Mountains with his dog, Wolf, man's best friend. The Catskill Mountains being representative of a safe haven. For Rip, it was the solitude the mountains provided that satisfied him. For me, it was the tranquility provided by the thrashing sound of my arms and legs as I moved down the water for a race. For you, it may have been the rush of adrenaline piercing through your veins, playing under the lights of your home field. It was sensational nervous excitement from performing in front of a sold-out crowd of your family and friends. It could even be the overwhelming calm that overcomes you as you finish painting the piece you have worked tirelessly on. Like Rip, you all have always had Wolf beside you, in the form of family and friends. For you, Wolf could have been someone who would compete with you side by side, pushing you past your limits. For someone else, Wolf could have been someone who was there at every performance, whether it was good or bad. Make sure that after the ceremony, you acknowledge your Wolf and thank them for helping you become the person that you are today. Let's bring it back to the story. As Wolf and Rip venture off into the woods, they encounter some mysterious men, playing some instruments. Rip doesn't pay mind to them, and he just takes some of the moonshine. As a result, he sleeps beside a tree. This is where the plot twist comes in. He ends up extending his slumber for 20 years. When he wakes up, the former village is completely different. No one recognizes him. The worst part is, his wife and friends have died, and his children are all grown now. The sleep that Rip went through is illustrative of the concept of not taking advantage of each moment. When there's an appreciation for the exhilarating moments from perhaps the party of the year, and the appreciation for the moments for the monotonous lecture you receive from your parents after coming home the next morning from the party of the year, that each moment can be truly cherished. I was not in attendance for this party of the year, so if you were, please let me know how wild it got. No moment in life is useless. You can learn an equal amount from both the mind-numbingly boring times and the adrenaline-charged times. Don't sleep through the pivotal moments of your life just because life seems to get difficult to cope with. Each one of our journeys will lead us down different paths. Some journeys may be clear, paved, and accompanied with directions and guidance. while others will face rugged, dirt-filled paths with trolls from fairy tales lurking under the bridge, impeding you from crossing over to your success. When a troll comes to visit you in the form of emotional turmoil, how will you handle the situation? Will you concede all of your hard work thus far? Or will you use the emotional disturbance as fuel? Fuel that will ignite the spark within you to get educated, or become an officer in the military, or simply to make your family proud. If you cannot find it within yourself to move forward and make positive steps in your life, remember the people who raised you and work in their honor. The sacrifices they made may not be evident to you now. However, the fact that you're sitting here today, crossing the stage as a high school graduate, goes to show that something was done right. There are some parents who have to work tirelessly to scrape by and put food on the table, or the single parents that face the struggle of raising multiple children on their own. I know that each one of my accomplishments can be attributed to my parents and are for my parents. I will be forever grateful for the giant leap that they took 16 years ago to move to the United States, leaving their lives behind in Ecuador just for the sake of my brother and I. I remember my mom telling me about how the first couple years in the States were horrible for her, so demoralizing that she would beg my father to go back to Ecuador. My father would just refer to my brother and I as a motivating factor to face the tribulations. Now as the years have come and gone, the tables have turned, and I must look to repay them. Perhaps not in a monetary way, but in the form of an education. Let us just take a moment to appreciate the work done by mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, or anyone else who raised me. Gracias, ma, pa y hermano por todo lo que han hecho por mí. Y gracias a mi tío, tía, abuelita, primo y primas por abrirnos las puertas de su casa a mi familia cuando venimos hace 16 años. Sin ustedes yo no estaría aquí dando este discurso. In hora viviré. Live in the moment. Remember the moment. I also want to thank my group of friends for giving me countless memorable moments throughout these 4 years, allowing me to have one of the best high school experiences that any student could have asked for. This goes for those unexpected moments when we would meet up in the Eagle's Nest and have our little squad meetup. And the uncontrollable laughing we encountered on each one of our history club trips we went on together. You guys will not and cannot be replaced, no matter how far we are from each other. And life without you guys would have meant the loss of my sanity. Without you guys, I am not sure how I will be able to cope at college. Life is a wild card that cannot possibly be predicted. Whether you were the athlete, the musician, the artist, the dancer, the actor, or nerd, like myself, the moment you move your tassel to the opposite side, you also come into the grasp of the real world, where none of high school's immaturities will matter anymore. You are starting anew, with each new opportunity being dictated by the innate drive inside each one of you to not only be successful, but to be happy with your lives. I now want to leave you with these parting words that I hope resonates with you as you exit this building. People tend to want to take the easy way out of life because they're scared. And they're scared because if they try and fail, there's only themselves to blame. Well, class of 2015, let me give you this advice. Life is scary. Get used to it. There are no magical fixes. It's all up to you. So when you get out of here, go start doing the work. Nothing in this world that's worth having comes easy. Thank you all for your time, and thank you, Allan, for the wonderful music. And to the class of 2015, we made it.